I think Shaq is too close to the problem.
I've just lost it. I've just lost it.
Because the power decided to go out. We have invested in a new generator, which we couldn't start last time, but we finally got it going, and hence we are almost half an hour late, but we are there. And we have, I think a lot of people wanted to see on the show, and lots of comments, both positive and negative. Kirby De Lanerolle, who is a old friend of mine, also has his own church, founded his own church, and he has a lot of things to say about a lot of aspects about humanity. So we will get into that, but every show, Kirby, we start with a poll, which has a yes or no answer.
Yes.
So we try to kind of tailor-make the poll to suit the guest.
Sure.
Darren, if you wouldn't mind.
So let's kickstart the daily poll for you right here on the show. And apart from the fact that Kirby's got a lot to say, we've got a lot to ask.
Sure.
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
We got a lot to ask. I mean, our Facebook pages were on fire, right?
Sure.
We have so many, obviously, questions.
Yeah.
Just before we get into the poll, we just need to basically ensure the fact that there is no vested interest here, right? And just to let you know that there is no case of any transaction that's happened. Kirby, how much have you paid us?
Exactly. No.
Right.
This is this is what people would think. But
Right.
absolutely.
So we haven't been paid for this interview, nor have we paid Kirby. We don't have money to pay Kirby for this interview. That's for sure. Right? we have no money after the generator.
So it is what it is. But the thing is, you must understand how an open dialogue works. Everybody's got to have a say, and fortunately, we live in a democratic country where everybody's ideas, belief systems, and their viewpoint is appreciated for what it is. So that is what it is, and this is exactly what we're going to ask her: his viewpoint on things.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's time for us to actually kickstart with the daily poll that we have for you. Let's find out what it is right now. Right here then, of course, as Anu said, every guest that we actually have on the show, depending on the topic that we talk about, we try and make sure that we have the poll as closely knit to the guest or the topic. And let's find out what the poll is right now for you.
It is.
Here we go.
Okay, so is faith healing a placebo? Yes or no? WhatsApp your answer to our hotline 077 669 1590. Is faith healing a placebo? Yes or no? Okay. So at the end of the show, we will let you know where the results stand as they have arrived. There's no tinkering with it, obviously, because there's no time to tinker with it.
We got lots to obviously talk about. So we're going to get on with the show right now. So firstly, Kirby, thank you so much for agreeing to come on the show.
Sure, pleasure.
Right, and we've got lots to obviously talk about on the show. We'll start off with the fact that, how did you get into this? How long ago did you get into this?
Right.
Like Anu said, that obviously he's known you for 30 odd years. Yeah. We've known each other for a long time. Clearly, this is not the Kirby that I knew at that point, right? Things, you've completely turned a new leaf, right? How did you get into this?
Yeah. I think you reminded me that we knew each other from snooker days at swimming club.
That's right.
And that you were at OCS, and so I said, well, I was in good form in those days. so what does good form mean? So if anyone knew me from my past, you'll realize that good form means that I was aggressive. I would drink a lot. I would go out looking for a fight.
Never say no to a fight.
Never said no.
Yeah.
But still the same. That didn't change.
That hasn't changed.
But our fight is different. I don't fight with hands any longer. But I like a good fight. I like a good challenge. But I think the character didn't change. The method changed. You see.
And let me just say, you could fight.
Yes, of course. I mean, national bronze medal for boxing later on. Later on, I wanted to train because I didn't want to fight in the club. So I wanted to be legally able to fight. So in a late time of my life, I started training. And I think it was Jatika Krida bronze medal at 28 or something. Quite late against the army boys. So I'm okay with my hands. Let's put it that. Yeah. So okay. So let's get to what changed. Was you see the trajectory I was going down at that time. If anyone knew my life, I would have ended up killing someone, or I would have ended up being in prison or something like that. It was not a good scene at all. Now I had no reason for this because my parents are phenomenal parents, come from a very good family. I mean, they looked after me so well. But somehow, when I was about 15, 16 years old, I don't know whether it was hormones or whatever it was, but I made a turn to the worst, really, and it was I got scandalized. Let's put it like that. I'm used to scandal because at that young age I got scandalized, and then faced a lot of rejection from community and people and stuff like that, and of course played to the audience. You see, that's what happens when a person, unfortunately, is not mature enough and they get scandalized, which I wasn't. And I played to the audience. I was the bad boy that they wanted, And but at one point, when Fiona's parents really were fed up of the fact that Fiona and I had been going out for, she was 13 and a half, I was 15, I think you remember that time I used to come to swim club with her. So at that point of time, I think they had got fed up with what I was like, and they took Fiona and went back to England. And in that season, I started looking for answers. I started looking for answers. Why am I like this? Can I change? Is there hope for me? I was depressed. I was seeing, doctors for mental health at a very young age. And I said, how can I be happy? How can I again have hope again? And I was very addicted to alcohol. Was the least of my problems at that time.
Right.
So I was, how do I get out of my addictions? Addiction was a massive reason why I found God. And really went back to I went the whole circuit. I went into when you have a deep yearning and your life is in absolute chaos and people can't help you. I had enough money because at 19, 20 years old I was printing, I think, all the lottery tickets at that point in the country. So I had enough money, but money didn't, although I had enough money, at a young age I made more money than my dad or whoever else in my family. So I was like, I have the money, I have the power because I was an absolute gangster, right? So power, money, so there was still a deep void. And I had someone who loved me, if you not loved me, but I was depressed. And that's when I started trying different types of spiritual walks, and I did the whole 9 yards, meditation, different things, and finally ended up with my father's and mother's faith and going into the Word of God. And what I realized is the more I went and understood Christ and redemption, because that's what I needed at that time. I needed to feel forgiven, because believe me, this hand that heals today or reaches out to heal a person has made part of people's faces. So that's the truth of the matter. You see,
I've seen the faces.
Yeah, you've seen the faces. So then I wanted forgiveness. And I said, is there someone, because men sometimes can forgive, sometimes can't forgive. I said, is there something bigger than me that can forgive my karma? And that I can have hope and I can be someone greater than I was. And I had to, for that, find something beyond myself. And I found it in Christ. And in a room in Maidenhead, I would go there for my art foundation degree. And in a room in Maidenhead, I gave my life to Jesus. I had a powerful encounter. I didn't see a face or anything like that, but I felt a beautiful presence. And I felt absolutely loved. And I heard a voice. And the voice told me that I came, and I felt it was the Lord. And he said, I came to the earth. And I said I was the Son of God to include everybody and not to exclude anybody. And when he said that, I got healed because I was offended with Jesus. Because I said, oh, this Jesus thing, these Christians believe in Jesus. I had no faith in Jesus at that time. I said, these Christians believe in Jesus and he's so exclusive and you become a Christian to know him and all this kind of stuff. And if you're not a Christian, you're going to go to hell and all this kind of stuff. And I was fed up with church. But I heard him say this distinctly. He said, I said I was the Son of God to include everybody. That means everybody in the world, whether you're Buddhist or Hindu or Muslim, gets included in sonship. And for me, I got to know Jesus outside of a church parameter. And from that time onwards, it didn't take me much time. For me, if I do something, I do something full on. If I'm radically going to take drugs and abuse it, I will abuse it more than everyone else in the room. The same way, if I abuse my life, then the same way I'm going to give my life. to now what I believe in everything. It didn't take me, Machang, 5 years to say, I'm going to become a priest.
Absolutely. That's what I want to actually come.
Machang left. I woke up the next morning just with such a hope. And for me, I was like, this is real. I want to serve you. I will speak your name from every mountaintop because I'm unashamed, Machang. I'm unashamed. I'm unashamed of my friends. I'm unashamed of what I believe, and I'm unashamed. And I think I'm not trying to evangelize you guys, so please understand, or anyone else.
Don't worry.
But, I'm very passionate in what I do. But my thing is, Machang, you see, at the end of the day, if I die tomorrow, I have to be absolutely convicted in what I do, and every man the same. And then I think it's worth it.
So Kirby, are you a prophet?
Man, let me explain this prophet thing to you guys.
You just need to be. These are things that we want to clear things out.
You see, you're a Muslim. You're asking me, I'm a prophet.
Right.
You see, when a Muslim asks the question, I have to be answered it very, very delicately and very sensitively, because you have a prophet.
Yeah.
Who, my God, the world has to acknowledge, and I am nowhere even 3.5 billion. I'll be stupid to even consider myself on that kind of level.
Right.
You see, I've never once told anyone I'm a prophet.
You haven't?
No.
Right.
But people, it's like this, in the Pentecostal charismatic move, okay, which I was a part of, but now much of me, I analyze everything, okay, and I'm very skeptical of the move, but it doesn't matter. I am a Christian, and because I'm a Christian, in the Christian faith, in the New Testament, you have 5 officers to serve. You have apostles, prophets, pastors, teachers, evangelists. These are like doctors, lawyers. So you have a minister of defense, you have a minister of health, you have a minister. These are just officers.
Right.
These prophets are nothing like when you say Prophet Muhammad.
Right.
Not just understand that
right.
I have absolute honor and respect for Prophet Muhammad.
Right.
You see, I function in a prophetic office in the church.
Right.
So when the Pentecostal charismatic sees me, I don't say you have to call me a prophet. People call me K or Kirby at church. Okay. I mean, none of my friends have said you got to call me a prophet. But the fact of the matter is, because I function in that office, it's like calling an engineer a doctor. So in our circles, you will hear them say prophet.
Right.
You see, and then people get offended, and especially if people are not having the context of it, they can get offended. Like, is this guy saying that he's like Prophet Muhammad, or he's come to save the world, or something like that? Absolutely not. It's an office, a functional office in a church where I'm not a pastor. Let's put it like that.
Right.
I'm not a pastor.
Okay.
So I'm a teacher.
Okay.
I've got a teaching office, and I've got a prophetic office.
Right.
So I prefer saying I'm a prophetic guy than saying I'm a prophet.
Right.
I'm a prophetic guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's a better.
And you have pronounced certain.
Yes, that's why I say I'm a prophetic guy, and Machang, not existential stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you go to sleep, Machang, you wake up with a dream, okay, and it's not hard, Machang. I know these things are not rocket science.
Yeah.
Machang, if you pray for people, I spend my day. I have a congregation, the people I love. People have so many problems today, man. Look where we are today. You know, if you look at my phone and my WhatsApp, how many prayer requests I have? I have over 100 prayer requests every single day. Can you pray for my son? Can you pray for my health? Can you pray for all this? So my day is spent praying for people. So naturally, Machang, when I go to sleep, it is a neuroscientific fact. Yeah. You're going to dream about what your heart is in. And so I have dreams for people. So I get up the next morning, and some of these dreams have really saved lives. Okay, some of the dreams have been too much pizza at night, and it has been completely off. Okay, right. But
not only pizza, is it?
No, these days it's pizza, but these days it's pizza. That's a luxury. I can't do what you guys do at the moment. But but the fact of the matter is, that's it. You see, so you pray for people. You're going to dream for people. And
Kirby, the thing is this, right?
Yeah.
You know, I've known you, but I know lots of people do not know you, and they refuse to know you as well. That because how have you in this equation of you trying to actually help people because you were saved, and you realized that other people needed saving too. In this process of doing that, how have you managed to piss people off? Thousands of them are just so anti-Kirby De Lanerolle.
And why have you managed to piss them off?
Okay. Honestly, it's a deeply mystical question because the one I follow, his name was Jesus. He managed to piss them off as well. He got crucified for it. I'm nowhere even close to that. But in fact, the fact of the matter is, you see, Jesus' life was brought up in a scandal. You must understand, he didn't have a, when he was born, they said it was an immaculate conception. Just imagine you wake up one day and your wife tells you that she's pregnant.
Right.
Okay, and then they're like, really, how? You know, and then you say it's from God. So from that time onwards, Jesus' life, they constantly in the Bible, they accuse him of not having a real father.
Yeah.
So scandal is something that every spiritual man, I don't think any, here's where you have to be very careful of. Scandal is a part of our lives. We get scandalized, accused, when we try to do good things. There are people who are fake out there as well, okay? But scandal is something that I'm used to. I'm not afraid of it. How did I manage to tick people off? Machang, if I say I can pray for someone, it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And you know, and I pray for someone, and that person gets healed.
Yeah.
That guy goes out and gives a testimony. Kirby De Lanerolle prayed for me, and someone heard someone else say prophet. Okay,
Yeah.
so
They put two and two together and make
it ticks people off, because who is this guy? He thinks he's a prophet. He can heal people. Okay, when we got hospitals, I was in hospital recently. I mean, I like doctors.
But can you heal people?
Machang, God can heal people,
Right.
but God can use human beings
Yes.
Right.
As
to
instruments, yeah.
Machang, the fact of the matter is, this massive energy called God, we don't know, it's a mystery who he is looking for a vessel of someone who says, I will pray for you. And or I will, he'll be a doctor swears an oath, I will make sure that people are healed and restored. And that's his life. And so therefore God uses a doctor to heal people. The same way, if someone comes and he needs prayer, not me, Machang, Shaq, you can heal someone. It's as simple as that.
So you feel that you are a vessel that God is using to basically heal people. Am I
I
right?
believe that any man
Right.
can be used.
Right.
Of course, there are modalities.
Right.
There are protocols. There is
Right.
meditation.
Right.
There are prayers.
Right.
There are things that you can do to be able to channel that.
Right.
Okay, or to be able to be open.
Or to get to that point.
Yes. Okay,
Right.
and there's a training for that.
Right.
But anyone. But anyone who is laid down for that. Now see, this is what your call is.
Right.
You're not going to have time sitting there meditating a couple of hours and then making sure that your mind is clear and that you're not given into the problem.
Right.
You see, if you're given into the problem, you can't heal. You can't give into your ego, into yourself. And so then you can channel a certain amount of energy, which is God, the divine, to be able to heal. This is not new. This is faith healing has been
Around
there in
1,000
every
years.
religion for thousands and thousands of years. Not only Christians who can heal people.
Right.
Okay, so anyone who gives his time to meditate.
The
and-
yogis have it
Oh
even
my
for
God,
long.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You see, when I got spiritual, like you say, I went fully in. I challenged pastors and I said, how long do you all pray for? How long do you meditate? How long do you fast for?
Yeah.
My whole thing when I went in spiritual, the first thing I did was fast. I fasted for years. I used to do only juice machang for
I remember.
months on end, like skinny like this.
Yeah.
Because all I want is to be the right vessel now that I found him, so that I can channel him, and it paid off. But I can't heal everybody. There's so many people. But my God, we have some amazing results. I love science. For me, these are all not spooky and spiritual.
Yeah.
For me, these are all scientific. And one day, every miracle has to be explained. Science is the language by science. At the moment, I'm doing my master's in science at King College London because I love science. I'm doing neuroscience. It was an unconditional offer given to me.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it because I know science is the way forward. But spirituality can be explained by science.
Of course.
This is all electromagnetic fields.
Yeah.
Frequencies. Love is a frequency. When you hear a song, it does something to you. So the same way, if someone has been meditating on love for 2 hours, and he comes and lays hands on you, it's going to shift the electromagnetic field around you, and you're going to feel it. And it can maybe change certain biomarkers in your body.
Yeah.
Today, meditation has been proven, scientifically, empirical research, that it can increase the telomere length, your brainwave states change, your neurohormones change, you have the right serotonin, dopamine, all the right oxytocin.
Yeah.
If you have the right hormones in your body gets healed. It is a scientific fact.
Yeah.
Now, if I tell someone, pray for 1 hour, and come, I'm just giving you because I like the scientific background to it, I have a background in it. If I tell someone, tomorrow at the meeting, I'm just going to give you how this thing works. Because this is not spooky, it is not weird. It's like, pray for 1 hour, don't eat, fast and come. Now watch the neurochemical effect that is happening. He's not eating anything, okay? His body is a slow brainwave state, that is he's in an alpha super learning state, or he's in a theta state, okay? And so you fast, as you fast, your brainwave states change. You go from beta down to alpha to theta, okay? Now it's a slow brain, it's a super learning state. That means you can absorb things very, very fast at this moment in time. And I say, now you come for the meeting. I'm just trying to show you. Now you asked a question very placebo.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a very, very interesting topic. Yeah. I love that question. Yeah. Because it is placebo, and it is something beyond placebo, but it is placebo plays a major role in healing. Major role in healing. So the guy comes in, okay, and when he comes in, now his brainwave state is in a super learning state. Okay, you give him some music when he comes in. That's what we do worship music. That's why it's not the old hymns. You have worship music that come in, you read the words, imagine you fall in love with God and you feel you're loved, you feel you're forgiven. Okay? As that feeling comes on you, oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, all the right hormones are facilitated in someone. All the happy hormones. Yeah. This guy, maybe because he was sick, maybe because he's depressed, maybe because he has marriage problems, has never felt that for the last 1 year. Okay? Now, I meditated. I spent time in prayer. I've made sure that I don't get distracted by the world. I've stayed focused on this man's healing, and I lay my hands on that person. The magic happens. And this is scientifically today analyzed. You look at William Bennington, people, professors like this, great grad professors like this, they have brought this into empirical research that the laying on of hands with the right mindset can be transferred. This is absolutely empirical scientific research now. It's not far away where science and spirituality are going to meet.
Yeah. We actually just before we actually did have a question that came up. Again, we have lots of questions. If you have questions, you can by all means please send those questions in.
Obvious things such as the government reaching out to the IMF during the previous government. Yeah. But how come you couldn't foresee the COVID pandemic? Dinuk Vijay.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's not that we don't. Honestly, pandemics and wars and stuff like that are not big prophecies for Christians, because they're in such a some of their doctrines are so contorted that they for the last 10 years they've prophesied that there's going to be a plague. Yeah. You go to, I don't have to prophesy. You go to any Christian, like a normal pastor who can't even see anything. Yeah. He will say the world is going to end. Yeah. There is going to be plague after plague after plague coming. So this is the normal part of the Christian walk. I think in the Muslims or in the book they say there's going to be plagues and wars. So those things, of course, you see, one thing is I can't see everything. Yeah. I'm not God. If I eat the wrong thing at night or I run too long that evening, I go deep sleep. You have to. There is a place between sleep, and this is good for people who are listening, where it's just before delta and just before theta. You see, and comes maybe around 5-6 in the morning. Yeah. Around that time is a time where is a time for dreams. And if you you can teach yourself to elongate that time. And at that time, if you think of the people or you pray for people at that time, you will be able to see. That's what I'm trying to say. This prophecy thing is not a big deal. Haven't you had a dream?
Of course.
That told you about the future? Haven't you had a dream that told you about the future? So this is not something that has to be scandalized. It's something that every man can do. Yeah. But someone has to spend time doing it. Now, I spent time doing it. So of course, the last time IMF, 31st night is how that IMF story came was. Yeah. 31st night, I'm supposed to prophesy as a prophetic guy. I'm supposed to prophesy over the church.
The coming year.
And the coming year. Yeah. So that's a major demand on us. Okay. Yeah. It's a stressful thing. Yeah. Okay. But of course. So I have to pray the whole of the night before and somehow hear or see a vision or something like that. And so that night, I saw at that point of time IMF and how the time is going to come. So, let's put it like this: I didn't pray for IMF or I didn't pray for anything, but my frequency was tuned so that I picked that up. That doesn't mean my frequency is always tuned to pick things up. I miss things constantly, and that's normal.
We are after all human.
What is the difference between the Wow Church? Do you also feel that the followers actually have raised you up to a pedestal that you didn't expect them to? Hence, you are where you are right now?
Yeah. See, Shaq, that's a very good question. That's a question with the integrity of heart. I can tell you that the people at WOW are taught well, and they are my dearest friends. I go cycling with them. I run with them. If you meet a WOWer, you will not see this pedestal. They say, "Machan, Kirby's like our buddy, a friend." There are churches in this country where you can't even get to the past the Machan.
We found out the
yeah, right. Okay, that's not WOW, man. You have access to me. We do not have this lordship kind of leadership. We all
there's no hierarchy.
There's no hierarchy, Machan.
Yes.
You know, my leaders, they're called co-founders.
Yes.
That means they're all equal to me, from Philip to Jackie to Ryan to Tammy. They're all absolutely equal to me. So I don't think if you're really a WOWer, a part of WOW Church, that you will look at me in a way, in some sort of pedestal. However, I must say that you must understand I'm bishop over 600 churches in Sri Lanka.
Yes. That's I actually want to ask you about.
Yeah, these guys come under a diocesan structure, and they are Pentecostal charismatic. I am trying to change that culture with them. It's a hard task. Okay,
this is probably what's upsetting the
yes.
rest of the
This is exactly what is upsetting. You must ask me the question, but I won't get diverted. But they, of course, for them, I'm their bishop. You see, and I mentioned them in Sinhalese and in Tamil. So they have a long way to go to understand what Jesus came to actually do for them. Them all up to one standard as sons of God. You see, but WOW Church, I really doubt it. They absolutely honor me as their leader, as a prophetic guy.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, but they call me Kirby. Globally and in Sri Lanka they call me Kirby, and some of them do call me prophet, and I accept that honor. I don't say no, don't call me prophet. Why should I? That's part of a culture. But they know that is not something that I expect from them, put a demand on them.
So what makes your church different to the other churches in Sri Lanka?
The doctrines.
Doctrines.
Yeah, the doctrines. I'm very strong on my doctrines. You see, Sri Lanka needs a Christianity that is endemically grown in Sri Lanka.
Correct.
Forgive me for saying this, I respect all other denominations, but I don't want a European church name on my name. Okay, I don't want an American church name on my name.
Right.
Sri Lanka had Christianity, Anu, I don't know whether you know this, for 1,400 years.
Really?
So, Nestorian Christianity. Okay, Nestorian Christianity is a Nestorian process. Professor Senat Paranamitarana explains this, that Migara, when Migara, who was the head of army, was a Christian. Okay, from St. Thomas's Christianity and Nestorian Christianity.
Okay.
Now,
wasn't he influenced from India? Or?
Yes, that's right. So, 62 AD, St. Thomas's was on the shores of Taprobane and of India.
Right.
Okay, and there was a Christianity here that was working perfectly well. It was a contemplative Christianity, and that's the kind of Christianity I follow. It's a meditative, contemplative Christianity, deeply mystical, that works so well. You just imagine Datu Sena's main commander was a Christian. This is 1,400 years ago. Okay, so we worked so well together. Now, what happened to Sri Lanka and Christianity in this country is because 100 years ago, the evangelical, charismatic move came in, and they started this conversion mindset and corporate conversion. And all they wanted was converting people, because that was the colonial goal. Okay. Now, I don't want to align myself with that, and so my doctrines are, I'm not going to ever tell you that you're going to end up in hell, and you need to accept Jesus Christ as the Lord and Savior because you're going to end up in hell, Shaq. But that is unfortunately my 600 pastors under me. I have a Bible school of 180 pastors. I am trying to weed this out of them. How do you honor a nation, honor the people, and say, I see God in you? Because the original Christianity, the Celtic Christianity, the original Christianity, even the Nestorian, a Nestorian was considered a cult, a heretic by the Catholic Church.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, but they spread more than any other church. They were called the Church of the East. The Tang dynasty took them. Genghis Khan's sons, all of them, Nestorians, Nestorian Christians. Completely different doctrine, and a doctrine that can work well with Buddhists. Can work well with. I'm not Nestorian, okay? I'm different, but I'm just trying to say, what is the doctrine that will work well? So our doctrines are very different. Our doctrine doesn't tell people that they're going to hell. Our doctrines do not tell people that they are sinners and that they need salvation. Or we all know, you don't have to tell. I don't have to tell you that you're a sinner and I don't have to know that I'm a sinner.
Yeah.
Okay, by telling you that doesn't help you.
Yeah.
But what can help you is if I tell you that God is inside of you and that there is a divine spark inside of you, and my job is to get that out. See, that's the difference between the doctrines. So this has caused the whole thing, the LGBTQ community. You see, at the end of the day, you can ask any Christian watching me today. It's a simple question. Does your church say that the LGBT community will go to hell? Does your church say, simple question, it's like this if you're watching me right now, does your church say that if you're a Buddhist or a Muslim, that you're going to hell, that these two guys next to me are going to end up in hell if I don't give you the salvation message today? Does your church say it? Let's not be hypocrites. And see if they do. And then see that, my God, you're carrying so much hatred and judgment in your heart. But you're calling yourself a Christian. But it's hatred, it's judgment. That's where the problem is.
Okay, I'm just going to interrupt you there, Kirby, because unfortunately we need to get off Dialogue TV right now because we started late. Really sorry about it, but you can carry on watching the conversation, sit back on our YouTube channel, so you can go for it and have go on, load up the YouTube channel.
Should we give the poll answer right now? I mean, because...
Well, no.
Oh, maybe
We've
not.
got more time with the poll. Not clearly. No.
My bad.
We've got more time. But thank you very much, everybody watching on Dialogue TV. Really sorry about the fact that we had to start late.
You'll catch the rest of the show on our social media tomorrow.
You can basically go ahead. We are live on our YouTube channel, so we'll carry on with the conversation right now. Okay, carrying on, Kirby, the thing is that we actually have this question. Anu, you want to start this question off?
So, this is Harin who's asking this question. What makes you different from the likes of Creflo Dollar, Benny Hinn, Kenneth Copeland and all the other wealthy faith-healing pastors who live off the tithings of their congregation?
Well, that's very simple, Anu, because at a very young age, I made a lot of money. I was very successful. And that is what called me to the cloth to serve God, is because at a young age, I realized God has blessed me so much, you see, and how can I now give back? So I didn't come into church to get any tithes and offerings. You look for a message where I'm asking for any money from anyone. Up to date, 50% of the ministry is funded by me, by my companies. I have aquaculture, I have 86 acres of prawns that I've had for the last 30 years. I sell commodities in the local market. I have a tea export company, and I have a media company.
The tea was your dad's, wasn't it?
Yes, my tea was my dad's company. So these companies are still going. And I use my money to fund my church. And that's the difference. You see, a lot of people, and I don't know Benny Hinn, Kenneth Copeland and all this. Benny Hinn's brother turned up at one of my meetings in the USA. But I don't know them personally. But I can tell you that I don't depend on tithes and offerings to finance the ministry. And then I have a leadership who are sold out, man. They come, Philip Ryan, Tammy Raymond, they come in and they have given out of their own. They were not expecting any money from the people.
Yeah, and willingly. So,
but if the people give, they, of course, I'm not going to say no. I think when you're part of a church, you have to be, we have so many, we feed the poor, we feed over 200 kids every single day. We teach and educate in temples, man. In temples, and there's no other church in this country, Pentecostal or charismatic camp, who are working with the temples, through the temples, helping the children. So, of course, we need money. I have 600 pastors. Some of the pastors are so poor. You see, a lot of them might not agree with me, but I'm there for them. You see.
So let me come to the important question. So why the hate? Why hate you? And there are people, and Kirby, I'm not kidding when I say they hate you. Right? But so why? What did you do to fundamentally chase them off?
Fundamentally chase them off is, I believe, see, you can't chase someone off just by this conversation. Someone has to instigate something, no, Anu?
Correct.
Okay? Someone has to instigate something. So the mainline charismatic camp, okay, they are absolutely threatened. And so when I went to 600 churches, I mean, look, I'm the new kid on the block. Just imagine, you've been in the scene for 30 years. Okay, right? And then some guy comes in, he's a businessman. He's been partying. He's been at the Blue Elephant. His leadership is a part of the Blue Elephant. Okay, and they come in and they say, okay, we want to serve God. And then suddenly they grow and they have 600 churches. I mean, it became a political issue. So at that point of time, they all got together. Every single one of them got together and tried to close me down. But I'm still here.
So what's the? I mean, okay.
So the hate is instigated.
Yeah.
The instigator or the bunch of instigators?
Yes, it's
Well,
instigated.
either way.
So much. If you say, you know,
Just before we
yeah.
get into that, I just got information right now
Yeah.
that we're still live on Dialogue TV. Right. Thank you very much. Right. It's wonderful. That's good. So we're live on Dialogue TV because, of course, the conversation is turning out to be very interesting.
Shaq,
So
I just like to point out you have multiple conversations going on at any given time.
you don't understand what's going on. Right?
It's like within the dimension.
I've got messages as to find out what's for dinner today. Okay, so
On
listen.
top of everything. Yes,
So on that subject, right now, when we posted up the picture yesterday saying that Kirby's going to be on the show, right? We had a shitstorm.
Yeah.
Right. Understandable, both of us, right?
Yeah.
And some things, of course, people, like we said, people were messaging us directly on private messages,
Yeah.
and said, "Why are you getting a con man,
Right, yeah.
into the studio,
Yeah.
right?" So now, like I explained to them, saying, "Listen, I don't know. These are stuff that I've heard,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
so
actually,
why can I not ask you that?"
Absolutely. And we were not getting Kirby the friend.
That's right.
We were getting Kirby the personality.
Exactly.
Yes.
So why are they calling you a con man?
Yeah. So
And why are you still here if you're conning people?
Yeah, exactly. So see, I'm not so worried about the con man thing. The reason is because at the end of the day, if you can't keep a lie going on Shaq
Right.
for years.
Right.
You see, we've been doing this now for nearly 20 years.
Yeah.
We've had miracles or signs and wonders or what people call these things happen constantly and created. Mashang, I was investigated by this government. But I was in government, and thank God I was in government at that time.
Yeah.
But I got investigated. They came 3 times. One time, they have to see how it is. Because sometimes when people come for a meeting, again I'll explain.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and explain to you scientifically because I have a scientific background.
Yeah.
So I'll explain it to you. You see, when the atmosphere changes, when you pray for someone, the atmosphere can change.
Yeah.
And when atmosphere changes, certain elements, there are certain markers that change. So we all have, for my personal take, I don't know how the gold dust is. People have gold dust
You told me about
on people. So I don't know how the gold dust happens. It can be that they come much and they would have taken a gift out and then it's Christmas something like that. Okay, right. So we have to have integrity. We have to be careful of that.
Yeah.
But sometimes you come for the meetings and the music is playing and people are worshipping and people will have this gold dust on their hands. Now that gold dust happened, Mashang, at one point. It's a long story. Came from a lot of pain that I went through at a certain point.
Yeah.
Now, the government has investigated this. At that point of time, they tried to put intelligence people from the roof of our church, and to check where cameras and what am I doing and all that. So a lie can't go on for 20 years. And unfortunately, the gentleman fell from the roof and died in my church. You see,
one of the intelligence people.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
That's how we know he's intelligent.
Yeah, right.
Because we had to go, the police put this thing.
Oh, right.
They say, so they go, what is he doing? There's a cricket ball on the roof and he went to get it.
Oh, good.
And then suddenly I was like, but why is the intelligence guy playing cricket on my roof?
It's not intelligent. To do with the lights going off here right now, okay? But so it's basically we're back right now and we're going to continue our conversation. So let's go back from where we actually got cut off with you basically requesting for protection.
Yes. Absolutely.
From that point onwards.
Yes. Requesting for
protection.
Yes. Absolutely.
From that point onwards.
Yes. Requesting for protection, and then they've been inspired to one day be able to be there for the free church pastors in this country that don't have any type of protection. You see, a free church pastor is not covered under any kind of government mandate.
Yeah.
The government does not give them a license to be a pastor. They don't have a license to have a church. There's something called the Department of Christian Affairs that only serves the National Christian Council. They only serve the Catholics, the Anglicans, Methodists, the AOG, the older charismatic
They do not accept.
But
anything.
anyone else, you can't even get a letter from them saying that you are a Christian pastor. So at that point of time, I realized there is a desperate need, and our things came through. We started moving to a hotel and having a meeting at a hotel. People ask, why do you have a meeting in a hotel? Because our church was taken away from us. And because of that, and why did you have a closed door? I had a closed door because I didn't have a license at that time. Though I was a church and Sri Lanka wasn't giving, and they were trying to shut me down. You see, and they were trying to shut me down because all the other churches are pressuring the government, close this guy down. You see, so what happened was, I lived in a hotel, and thank God I had tremendous leaders who stood by me, and we grew in the hotels. And of course, I at that point of time thought, I need to be able to, how many pastors are like this around? To see there's about over 1,500 free churches that don't have any kind of protection, and these people, some of them are genuinely serving the people in their area, genuinely sold out to the Lord, and I believe that they need to be protected. And that is when I got inspired, I need to be able to protect them.
Did you have a vetting process for,
Yes.
who was included in this movement?
100%. We have a very stringent vetting process. They have to fill the form, they have to get police reports, they have to, we go and see whether they have a church, we go to see whether they have a Sunday service. That is done. Of course, there are many who can bypass those processes, and there are many people out there who are out to just make money, and it's commercialized business.
Does your church actually make money though? How do you make money if you do make money?
How do we make money? We give our money.
Okay.
It's not the other way around.
It's not the other way around.
It's not.
Okay.
I have companies that finance the church.
Right. And so that's what you've been doing all along, right?
That's why I came into this, because I saw how certain pastors would go to their congregation and take from their congregation and take the money from their congregation and live their lives. I always lived a life that was very good. I always drove good cars and all that. That is nothing new to me. You see, I don't take the church money and try and buy my Range Rover. You see, my Range Rover is bought by my own money. And also we support all the churches, and we support our people, and we support our community with the money we earn. That we can buy apartments and do all those things, but we serve our people. That's what it means to be sold out, and that's why I'm challenging any pastor watching me who is taking money from their congregation, because that's what it means to be sold out. Sold out means
churches, the smaller churches that you did absorb and protected, by becoming a bishop. Do they also follow that same kind of?
I'm not saying all of them do. But we have a Bible school, and I can't force all of them to come to Bible school.
Correct.
But 180 of them are in my Bible school. So out of 600, 180 are in the Bible school. Now in the Bible school, I teach these things. I teach them to be self-sufficient. Because at the end of the day, Paul, who wrote the New Testament, he was a corporate guy. He had a building business. He was a tent maker at that time. Means he had a company. Right. So he says how he runs his ministry, who wrote 13 books in the New Testament, is by his own finances. So of course there's tithes and offerings coming in, but he was not protecting himself by taking their money. He had his own money, and if someone tithes into church, that goes for the work of the church. You see? But your life is not sustained by the church.
Here's another question, Anu. This is from Shenenka.
So, why do you let God heal people through you only during your congregations? Why not heal kids at the cancer hospital? Surely God will channel healing through you for that, right?
Yes, absolutely. And we go to, when we are invited, one of my favorite things to do is hospital visits. And when we are invited by someone to come and pray for someone in the hospital, you can't go and force yourself. This is a very sensitive issue. But when people do invite us to go and pray, we have a dedicated prayer team that does hospital visits.
And does this happen often?
Yes. We get many invitations from people. We send someone to the hospital, and absolutely we pray for people in the hospital. We go to hospitals. It's actually as a young spiritual mystic, we need to practice. So it's something that I encourage anyone young who likes to pray for healing and stuff like that. This is a practice thing. You can't suddenly just come and lay your hands in. It is a trained, prayed for, practice thing, and the more practice you have on laying hands for people, you start getting better results.
Kirby, something I noticed, right? Now the more established churches, let's say, the Catholics and the Anglicans.
Yes.
Yeah. They found, this is something I observed as an outsider. They found that, the born again Christians at one time was the threat.
Yes.
Then suddenly you find that the born again Christians, the Catholics and
together.
the Anglicans have suddenly found you as the common enemy.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's why I actually asked you that earlier question.
Yeah.
Because now these are friends of mine who've known you as well for the longest time.
Sure.
But the moment you made this leap into what you're doing right now, it just fundamentally changed the game for them.
Sure.
So something you're saying or something you're doing is fundamentally upsetting them.
Yes.
Do you know what that is?
Well, well, it's as simple as this. It's their congregation coming to my congregation. So I'm not telling them to come. It's as simple as that. It's to do with money. So it's a monetary issue. And so when people lose their congregation to someone else, so before that, the born again, the Catholics would say the born agains are taking our
congregation.
Our congregation.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing that is happening now. We are growing. I'm over 500 groups in the USA. We have 500 coaches in the USA.
Right.
You see, so globally we've grown. I have 1,000 students in what we call Christian Mystery School. 1,000 students, okay, from the USA. We have grown. We have 600 churches here. That's over 200,000 people. So we did this in a very short time, comparatively to others who labored long in the field, and they might think that it's a threat. So it's a simple political issue, and also in the time when election comes, we get hammered. Because you see, you must understand, Anu, you all like politics, so I'll tell you all a bit of politics here. You see, elections are lost in 200,000 votes. You see, if you have 10 million people, but they can't be mobilized, it's not a threat. But you have 200,000 people, or 50,000, or 300 people who can be mobilized, okay, that's a powerful group. You have to understand this. You see, in this camp, in the Pentecostal charismatic camp, they were painted one color for the last 30-40 years. They voted one way for 30-40 years. Okay, so politically, there is maybe 400,000, 500,000 votes.
That's guaranteed.
That is a guarantee for one party. In comes Kirby De Lanerolle. He's not bound his head to anyone. He can decide what he wants to do. Okay, what color he wants to vote, what he wants to do. I will vote for the people, for the government, who will make sure that my people's fundamental rights are established. As simple as that. The burial of the dead in places in Sri Lanka, still a charismatic Pentecostal pastor or his congregation cannot go to a public cemetery and bury the dead. We can't go to the Pradesh Sabha and say, it is our own land, I want to increase it and make my church bigger. We are still not allowed to do it. Our identity cards still don't have passed on it. So, because of that, okay, I am standing for the free churches. Now, so naturally, this is growing. Okay, now where they will vote is where the government who will make sure that the minority rights are established.
Correct.
No more colors. So naturally, there is a vendetta to stop where I am going, and it's a political issue because the congregation is increasing, the churches are increasing. So people are losing their franchise.
Michael has a question. We're going to go get into that one, and something, of course, that we want to talk about. Go on. I know I don't have my glasses on.
The miracles you perform are known tricks performed by defamed faith healers like Peter Popoff. Okay, I've never heard of it. Healing partial hearing, the classic one short leg. Using info known about new members of the congregation to call them out in the guise of a prophecy. Why do you choose the same gimmick healing? This is Michael who asked this question.
Okay. Michael, the fact of the matter is that I think you're putting someone else's healings on me. Okay, I don't do that kind of stuff. I do a little crazier stuff than that, like phone charge. we need
to talk about that.
There's no one else who can do that kind of stuff in this country. Huh?
Right.
People are claiming that they can, but they have to import that kind of stuff down. You see, digital miracles. You see, that's what I like to do. But for me, it's scientific. For me, when again, there is science behind what I'm trying to explain to you all.
The next question will nicely tie into this.
No, but you want to read the book?
So why did you trivialize God in Jesus through dialogue, reloads and phone charging? Was it to convince the not so educated masses through basic things that they can gain meaning? This is Janit.
What was that, Kirby? That recharge thing?
That's a good question. It was taken out of context.
Right.
Okay. When I pray for people, okay, watch this. if I pray for someone and there is a mass congregation, then there are biomarkers that change.
Yeah.
So I will ask, when I prayed right now, does anyone, the pain in your body, did it go? Okay, I'll ask a question. So they say, yeah, I came in with the pain is gone. Then I realized that when this prayer happens in the church, some people say, my phone battery was charged and it went to 0. Okay? Or someone will say, very strange thing happened, Kavi. This is how I got to know this thing happens. Another, it's like a biomarker, but it's a digital marker. Kavi, very strange thing happened. My battery was at 30, it went up to 70. So this caught my attention. Okay. So
and everybody else's.
But how this happened was
right.
Yeah.
So then I thought this is really interesting because no one gets the opportunity to have 500 people in a room and then pray for healing and then see these biomarkers change. So I'm very scientific in the way I think. So for like how did that happen? And so then what I say is I'm going to pray for healing right now in the room. But you will see that there is power in the prayer because I've meditated now for 4 hours and I come and you'll see that the electromagnetics in the room will change as well. Even check your phones, right?
Okay.
Your bodies will get healed,
Yeah.
but even check your phones because a cell is a cell, the same thing, liquid crystal of a phone battery and a liquid on you. We are also cells. We have sodium, potassium going out in our body constantly in our cells and getting charged constantly. There is a minus 70 voltage at any resting point of the cell. So now you see, if that is happening in our body, then a phone cell or something shifts. So naturally they see it. So that's what happened. I'm not going and saying, let me charge your phones. I'm saying, let me pray for you that you will get healed, that your life will change. The power of that prayer charges not only their cells in their body, but and so as a biomarker, I will say, did pain go away? Can you see better? Check your phones. That's a digital miracle. Then people say, strange. Some people say I had full battery. I had no battery now. Okay. Some people say I had 30%. They went to 100%.
So
it was a biomarker.
Obviously,
that was taken out of context.
Exactly. So the video that went out, clearly had individuals suddenly getting up, and I've seen the video, and I have to confess that what the hell is this?
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, so at the end of the day, so where you got individuals standing up and saying that the battery has basically gone up into 100%, etc.
Or their phone bill got they're digital, so it's all digital now, Achang?
Yeah. So
you see, digital it's all to do with frequencies. You see, that can be shifted by consciousness very, very easily because even when I'm talking like this, it's a frequency. Digital frequencies can be shifted, okay, intentionally, okay, and I can demonstrate this. You give me 20, 30 people in one room at any time.
I was just about to ask you because the thing is this, obviously when that thing comes out, Kirby, it is understandable that you feel that these individuals have been planted.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? And you basically get up and they say, yes, this is happening. Can you just take a random set of people of 20 or 30 and get this going?
Check our YouTube channel, and there's a channel called Esykonesis, okay, which it's not religious. Esykonesis is the ability to change time and dimensions. Now, in that one, it's like telekinesis or something to do with frequencies. You see everywhere in the world. Now, I'm invited all over. Why we got world famous is because I'm invited all over the world, and so people like to see this. So I'm going to congregations. There will be videos even now online. American, we are not talking of poor people, we are talking of educated. The people who come into mystical Christianity or contemplative Christianity are very educated theologians, doctors, lawyers, all these people. Now my congregation, you have corporate heads, the best brains in this country are in my congregation. So you can't fool them. So it's a matter of once I know how to do it. I can, you give me a control group or sample group of any amount of people, it's constantly happening.
But do they have to be your followers?
No.
Do they have to have faith in what you basically preach?
They have to
it could be anybody?
Yeah, they have to be open.
Right.
You see, openness is something that you see. I'm a proper skeptic. That means I'm skeptical till I see evidence.
Right.
You see, so that's okay.
Right.
So if someone comes really to wow and says, "Hey, I'd like to see this happen," and don't suspect the people. It might happen to you. It might happen to someone else. Or whatever. Just have a really look at, is that really happening? If it is happening, and if this is not a lie, and very soon the scientists have already caught on it. There was a guy from India who came down. He was a professor of electricity, electromagnetics. So he came and said, now teach me how to do this. I said, you come to my church. I said, if you give me your phone, I won't be able to do it. Not as yet. Very soon, I'm working on demand. but it will come. It takes a bit of understanding to go deeper. But I said, look, electromagnetics will change. So he came and he went back and he has realized, and now if you type online, if you go into I can't remember whatever it is, but the proper empirical research done, they call it, the scientists don't know, they don't call it God, no, they call it phone poltergeist.
Right.
So
ghosts in the machine.
Ghosts in the machine, where certain people will come, young kids, and certain people can come, and the frequency in the room changes, and digital instruments act weird. Okay, now I'm telling you that you, personally, if you're watching me online, you had the same experience. The modem that you pressed didn't work, or you were in a bad mood, you came in, you're trying to put this thing on, it didn't work on, something happened. It's your frequency changes the frequencies around. Now, a person who knows about that can intentionally do that and enter Kirby De Lanerolle. Okay, I'm doing something that very few people in the world can do. I've seen other people, some people do it, and I've not been convinced because I know the difficulty. It's beyond healing. It's a difficulty level beyond healing. You have to be, I mean, you have to be switched on to get this thing done.
But let me ask this, right? What I still find strange is that clearly your congregation is growing, and they're very happy with whatever results they've achieved, and maybe the results are maybe more spiritual than in the material world, and which is a wonderful thing, which is something I also endorse. And at the same time, now this seems to be even angering a lot of other people even more. Maybe not Christians, like random other people. Let's say, for instance, random Buddhists. Why is this? Because do they feel that they don't like to see so many people happy?
No, they may be thinking they may be thinking that I'm using, this is what it is. When they saw the phone battery charging, that I'm using this phone battery charging to convince people to believe in Jesus.
Right.
I'm not. You see, I'm just saying, guys, and never did I say, guys, when you come to God's kingdom, you have to be like a child, and let's play a bit. Can we play and see whether this works? I'm always experimenting with my congregation, and they're awesome congregation. They allow me to experiment, because then I experiment with them, and then I go abroad, and I see it happen there, and it's like amazing stuff. So we are like a group that starts experimenting with spiritual things that God has given us. We're a very playful bunch. And don't take ourselves too seriously. And because of that, we have this cool stuff happen that one day will be empirical science. These are not spooky stuff. These can be explained through meditation, through science, and we are getting there. And so I like a lot of scientific illumination when I teach. I teach a lot about consciousness and how consciousness can change people.
You have a lot of scientists involved in your congregation who actually are working actively to kind of explain the phenomena.
Absolutely. How I got even King's College, they gave me from theology. It is impossible to get to science. You see, I got a degree in theology. Suddenly to get to masters in science, they gave me unconditional answer, because there were tremendous recommendations from people who are part of WOW USA and stuff like that. So on very good recommendations, we also accepted into, I don't know whether you ever heard of Stephen Kotler. So Stephen Kotler, now Flow Research Initiative, we are working very closely together, and by the end of this year we are working so closely, because they get it. You see, they understand neuroscience and the way frequencies work and the brainwave states working that can influence. You change your dopaminergic, you serotonin, you change your neurochemicals. Everything in the area changes. So I am trying to now bring this spirituality into a scientific paradigm, and so for research.
So they actually did the research back when LSD was research in this.
LSD was used, absolutely. I mean, psychedelics is one way to get into that. That's how I got into it when I was young. And actually psychedelics are coming back into research now. Even in the studies I'm doing, they're bringing psychedelics back in because the psychedelics activate certain parts of your pineal gland that then there is a oneness and you don't feel that the material realm is really solid.
Yeah.
You see? And so psychedelics in microdosing is going to help a lot of people in the future. One, to get out of addiction, the other to tap into these types of experiences.
Yeah. Do you have parts of your followers or congregations who have left your church and obviously at that point have not necessarily it has not worked for them?
Of course.
And then left your church, and they said, then is that where it actually starts off from?
Yeah.
The instigation?
No, the instigation ones. I don't think I don't have so many people left our church like that. But I don't think it starts off. You see, the move against us. You see, the hate and the move against us is a planned effort. You can't get that type of momentum
just from
it's a politically planned effort. You won't believe, Shaq, that when the last 3 years when we were being attacked in the papers, they planned a campaign. All those articles was campaigned advertising to get people to stop coming to wow. But I mean,
this is Banu who poses this question.
Yeah.
Why can't you help your congregation when they need to put their kids into Christian or Catholic schools and have to go ask the traditional churches for help to get recommendations?
That's a very good question,
Yeah.
and that is why that's why we started a diocese of our own, because you see the franchise is held by the Christian, the National Christian Council and the Catholics.
Yeah.
So what happens is the free church pastor, there's about 400,000 free church pastors and their congregation, when they want to get to a school, this is one of the biggest problems we have.
Yeah.
They have to go to the main line and ask for a letter.
Right.
Where the school says, we only want a letter from the main line.
Right.
You see? So we get persecuted like that. That is a tactic that the main lines are using so that people stay in their congregation. Because they say, you'll never be able to
put your child into school.
Or bury the dead, because we have it in the cemeteries.
Yeah.
And we have your book. You see? And so they are holding people in through those tactics. But you see, at the end of the day, people want to be free, and they want to believe freely in who God has called them to be and what they want to believe in. If you're a Muslim, you want to believe in a certain way, I have to give you, I have to allow you to live and believe what you believe, as long as you're not harming me.
Right.
You know, that Sri Lanka has to grow up into that democracy. You know, the Western world is open. You can have another opinion. You can believe what you believe. We can still have a conversation. We can be friends.
Let's just say they are a lot more tolerant than we are.
Right.
Not freely so, but
not freely so.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that was Banu whose wedding I went to on day before.
Oh, did you? We're actually into the final few minutes of the show right now. Something I want to actually ask you, Kirby, before we sign off is, why did you come for this interview? You've been called for interviews many times before. We have no vested interest in you or your church, right? We've met each other after many years.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Why did you come for this?
Are you just trying to clear our name? Or?
No, in general, why did you come for this?
But because I was invited by Anu.
Right.
And Anu and I go way back. And there was a time, I remember, when Anu, when all these things were going on, and every day there would be a paper article against us, telling people, all the churches getting together saying, wow, life is a cult, and all this kind of stuff, trying to defame us. At that point of time, I met Anu. I think it was Cinnamon Grand in the morning. We were at the coffee shop. Not sure exactly what it was.
As usual, at the coffee shop.
And Anu told me at that point of time, he wasn't, then he was just finished Puspedilla and all that, and he was in a quiet stage, you know, and he said, Kirby, I want to talk to you about all this, and I want you to be able to say what you have to say. And one day, this is the guy. He said, one day, Machan, I'll get back into media, and I'm going to invite you. I have not taken any other. I taken Danu's interview, and Danu's interview was he wanted to interview us, and then of course my board said no, and then it got postponed 2 years, and then took Danu's interview because my board and they know him very well, and I enjoyed that interview. And when I remembered, this is a man who kept his word. You see, for me, keeping a word, loyalty, Machan, I'm a very loyal guy, and I see loyalty and I see friendship, and I see a person who's faithful to their word, and that for me inspires me. And so when he called me and he said, Kirby, Machan, you remember I told you, now Machan, we're doing a show, we're doing well, the show is doing really well, Machan, as well. Now I want to keep my word to you. I said, absolutely. And I asked my board, and I explained to them, I had to convince them that he is a friend of mine, and this is a friendly place that he's not going to come and try to accuse us or something like that. And I don't want to do interviews like that.
Right.
You see. And they said okay, and so I'm here.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kirby. Thanks for saying that.
Thanks for saving Anu's tuition.
I might start crying in the middle.
All right, we're actually into the final bit of the show, and I think it's time for us to reveal the answer. Not the answer, the poll. Rather.
Yes.
Right, the
I
poll.
completely forgot.
But
about
I've
it.
given them the answer.
You've given the answer. We'll figure out exactly what it is. It was the beginning
so
of the show.
poll was quite simple.
Let's have it up on the screen right now. There you go, Anu.
Yeah, is faith healing a placebo? Yes or no? WhatsApp your answer to our hotline 077 669 1590, and this is it.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
83%. 83% that say faith healing is a placebo.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I said it is a placebo.
Yeah.
But it also takes there's another extra part to it. But of course, a placebo plays a massive role in it. Absolutely.
It's brilliant. Well, Kirby, there is obviously it was an absolute treat to have you on the show. There were clearly we could actually go on having a conversation with so many different things
Sure.
that we can talk about.
Clearly, the cosmos was against us.
Yeah, clearly it was, and but we struggled through it.
Yes,
we
absolutely.
did, and we got
Yeah.
on. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank
It
you
was
so
an
much.
absolute
Yeah,
treat.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
it's great being here, man.
Always
Thanks
a
so much.
pleasure.
And we always obviously had questions that we wanted to know. I mean, we wanted to speak about the reload. We want to speak about the fact that all the questions that have been thrown at you.
Yeah.
And one question I think I know that you and I wanted to basically you told me is the fact that did you like living like this, Kirby? Do you like
because
defending
this
yourself
kind of
all the time?
this kind of like hate out there. This is like for me.
Yeah.
This is like the Hollywood glitterati trying to avoid the paparazzi all
Right.
the time.
Absolutely.
But this is this is a little worse than that.
You see, Anu, we have a tremendous following of people
Yeah.
who absolutely love us and who are there for us. And we have, if my life is worth one person's life changing, then
Yeah.
it's absolutely worth it. If one person's life has changed after I minister to them and they receive the Lord, this is absolutely worth it. And my Savior, the Lord Jesus Christ, was crucified for saying the same things.
Yeah.
Okay, He turned water into wine. We have not still done that. Let's see what they say when I do that. Okay.
Excellent.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for being a part of the show. And as you know, we've got so many wonderful guests coming up on the show. Do you want to pop up tomorrow's guest? Pop up tomorrow's guest? Here we go. She's going to be on the show with us. Hirunika is coming up on the show tomorrow. We're going to have a chat with her. And but something else that we need to seriously discuss is the fact that how can we move on with the show?
How whether any show is possible at this point, because fuel is going to be the crux of the matter, right?
Exactly, and we are not essential.
Yeah. Anyway, see you tomorrow.
Have
Take
yourself
care.
a wonderful night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, and we'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock.